What's up? What's up? Hi guys, how you doing? I hope you guys are well. My name is TESSWESS and this is Heart to Heart with TESSWESS. Of course, you're watching Cultured. Come and watch Cultured. What other show are you watching, really? So I wanted to start off, this whole session with giving you a story. Hey! I hope you're ready because I have a story and I have for you. So we're going to be talking a lot about relationships and social life, right? And how to deal with situations, especially in different scenarios and different things. And I just thought, let me just give you a small scenario, a small story of myself, like how I started. I started dating very early. Um, Let me give you like a few seconds to guess. While you're guessing, please go to Kunaka box Palivio over here, just over here. Just go there and please, inaitwa nini? Subscribe. Subscribe. Come on, what are you waiting for? Because this is gonna be a journey. You and me, it's gonna be real. It's gonna be real. It's gonna be a real journey, yeah. So subscribe. I wanna see you. Like, of course, and then let's get to it. So just as you're doing that, let's guess, when did Teswa start dating? Um, just let me give you a second. Take a wild guess. No, it's not what you're thinking. So start dating in class 6. Imagine. And also just to give you a background, I come from a very strict Catholic family, extremely strict Catholic family. I also come from where I live, or rather where my parents live, is a very strict estate where you are not allowed to work with boys. You're not even allowed to look at a boy. Let me tell you, upatikane guy. Hey, how do I even find you as a class 6 girl walking with a boy? Why? For what purpose? And I think even playing with boys was never allowed. But who is TESSWESS? Kifua napiga kifua yangu. So what had happened was, see, I'm in class 6. I'm in this new school. And to just give even more context, nilikuwa navaa skirt kanafika hapa. It was right below, like the skirt that I had on was very short because it was small, not actually because it was a preference. It's just that I didn't have clothes. I hadn't bought the new uniform to the school. So I was wearing a very short skirt from probably class 4. And so of course you can tell me and my brown thighs. So my thighs were looking like this. No, actually, they were as thick as my arms at this point. So what had happened was, see, we start dating, right? Oh, sorry, not even start dating. I happened to join class 6, and in class 6 we must have been like 20 to 30 kids, and then of course there were the class 7 boys. So apparently all the class 7 boys liked me, and I didn't know this. And they used to have like they used to discuss about it. And plus, you're the new kid in the school, so you're calling all the attention, you're calling probably all the shots at this time. Hawataki ile supu wamezoea. They don't want that. So why? For what purpose? No, they want new things. Wataka ile supu tamu tamu. There's nothing nice as something new, right? And anything new attracts attention, of course. So of course at this time I was attracting a lot of attention. So what happened is a friend of mine that we had moved into this new school together. For the sake of this story, I'll call him Johnny. So Johnny comes and tells me, so by the way, Tess, there are a couple of guys who really like you. I was like, okay, so which boys are this? Which boys like me? Because clearly none of them have, shared any interest or just even talked to me really. They're like, oh, there's this boy, there's this boy. So he starts mentioning them, and they come down to about 7 guys. So I'm like, listen. 7 guys like me. I'm in class 6. You're in a new school and you're being told 7 guys like you. That's wild. First of all, that's even wild. How does that even happen? So I think I enjoyed the attention for a while, and then he came back like, let's say a month later, and he tells me, so now you need to make a choice because now these boys are fighting over your attention. Again, none of these boys have spoken to me at this point, not at all. But of course, there are people who would ask you, because at the time when in class 6, class 7, and class 8 boys, kids, all of them used to stay later for maybe 1.5. 1.5. My ancestors are calling me 1.5 hours for tuition purposes, of course, just to make sure that you're up in your game and everything. So classes would end at 3:30, and then we'd stay in school till around 5, and that was like, like preps and everything. So what happened was, let me even get comfortable. So these guys so I'm told you need to make a choice. So I make a choice and I pick one of the tallest guys because I don't know why. I don't know why. I just like tall boys. And then so I pick one of the tall guys and he's like, "Oh hi, my name is so and so. So let's call him Kevo." So Kevo comes through. He tells me, "Hey yo, you're looking fine. You're very pretty. I'd like to, just give me your number." And of course I didn't have a phone at the time. So guess what TESSWESS does? I give him my house help's number. So what I used to do, he'd call me with the house help's number, and then we have a conversation, nini, and it became a thing. And then by the time ilikuwa second term, so the second term starts in May. So in May, everyone, the whole school knows Tess is dating Kivu. They are whole relationship. Achana now. Those guys are in their own vibe. And then, so what Kevo used to do, I still laugh at this. He'd call all his estate boys, all of them. So these are like 10 guys. He'd bring them, all of them. They'd look at because they used to live in the estate opposite us. So he'd call all of them. Yani umekuja kuona na 10 boys. Actually 11 at this point. 11 boys have come to see you in an estate where you're not even allowed to talk to boys. Let me tell you, every neighbor in my estate thought I was a menace. They genuinely thought this girl, first of all, is gonna get pregnant by the time she's in class 8. Because how are 8 boys coming to see you? So they'd come, they'd stand outside my gate, and then now my boyfriend, Kevo, would come inside the house. We'd talk, we'd chill. And then, so what happened was, what we used to do, like how, this is where love language comes through. He used to, because again, so at this time, of course, I bought the uniform for the school and everything. So he'd come to class, and then he'd pretend he's showing me a question while I'm seated on my desk. And then he'd slip sweets inside my pocket. Or sometimes, like at the time, it was like Mr. Berries, like Pin Pops. I think at that time we were having Big Daddy. Big Daddy. So we had like the Big Daddy Pin Pops and all these things. So he'd put them in my pocket and then he'd walk out of class. So that became our love language. And then how I would, of course, reciprocate that, I would put like a lot of seats in my textbook. Like let's say it's action in science, because that's the textbook we used to study at the time, sindio? So nazieka hapo katikati vizuri, nazia line, and then I'd give him the textbook and then be like, "Oh, thank you for giving me a textbook." And then he'd open and there will be seats inside his textbook. Listen. This class 6 test was in love. Me akuna venye ungeniambia hiyo si mapenzi. There is absolutely no way you would have told me that's not mapenzi. And then I think eventually it became a thing. And then he'd write like on top of the textbook, but whatever, whether it was GHC, social studies, or like my maths textbook, pale juu si kuna kwanga na ka space, he'd write like, "You look really nice," or like, "I like your smile." Like he'd write something and then he'd come and give me the textbook and be like, "Oh, page 72." So I'd go to page 72 and then I'll find that note over there, and then I'll read it and then I'll smile, and then I'll take my eraser and rub it off, because of course you don't want anyone else to find out. And then you'll rub it off, and then I'll write him the same page, or the next page I'll write him a text. Or like I'll write him, "I like your height," or "I also think you have a nice smile," or "It will be nice to just finally kiss you." So, like this is small things. And let me tell you, hey, I was in love. I was madly in love. So this goes on till I get to class 7. So this boy in class 7 comes and tells me, "Yo, I'm in class 8. I need to focus on my studies. Wajipange." So we break up. So at this point, my heart is crushed, but it makes sense because he's in class 8. So at the back of my head, I'm telling myself, "Ako class 8. So by the time he's finishing, once he does his KCPE, we're gonna be back together." And for sure, he finished his KCPE, we were back together. So it goes on. So he starts writing me notes, and then he'll give his cousin, and then his cousin would bring them. Sorry, his cousin was in my class, so he'd give his cousin, and then his cousin would bring me the notes and the letters and all these things. It's a love language at this point. At this point, I am deep in it. I am in love. You can't tell me anything else. Fuck all of you. You guys don't even know nothing. I am in love. Up until his birthday, and this must have been his 15th or 16th birthday. So he invites me. He tells me, I'd want you to come. I'm having a party. I want to come for my birthday. I'm like, oh, finally all his friends they're gonna meet me, they're gonna like me, they're gonna know who TESSWESS is. Like, you know how us girls, the moment your boyfriend tells you, I want to introduce you to my friends, it becomes a whole thing. All of a sudden you've seen marriage. All of a sudden you see CG Rorashio, CG what you this is it. This is the it thing for us, like being introduced to the guy's friends. So I go there. I'm the first guest, of course, and I at that time sikwana do. I'm in class 8 at this time. I don't have money. I'm a broke ass bitch. So what I did, I collected a collection of movies that I liked, like the CDs. You guys remember the CDs that we used to buy? So I had like a list of movies that I liked, and I packed them vizuri, and then I made him some popcorns. I was like, it's for the party. I'm sure everyone will like popcorns for the party. So that's what I brought him as his birthday gift. Because again, I didn't have money, but the collection of movies, and then I told him, start with this movie. It's really cool, and then head down this list. So I even wrote down the list of movies of how he should watch them, and how I just knew this was gonna be perfect at the time. So we get that to the party, people start coming in, and then he tells me, just because we were so many, we must have been like maybe 20 or 30 kids, right? So we were so many in this house, and it was like a small 2-bedroom house. So guys are told, guys spread out. Some guys were in the sitting room, other people were in the different bedrooms. So I sat in one of the bedrooms. I'm seated on the bed, and there are 2 beds in this room. So he sits on the bed that's opposite me, but he's not sitting with me. So at first, I didn't find that weird because he was talking to his friends. And then I think at some point, I started talking to some other guy. And when I look up, there was a chick on his lap. And they are looking all lovey-dovey. They're looking all everything. So I'm wondering, wait. Able we pause. I thought I was the girlfriend. So at this point, I can't throw drama because all these guys are high school kids. I'm the only one in primary school at this time. So I asked the guy that seated next to him, so Kevo, uni demoake ama what's happening? He's like, yeah, that's the girlfriend. What? What do you mean that's the girlfriend? Of course, I wouldn't have said this, but my mind right now is racing. So I wake up and I look at him and I go towards him, and he's sitting on the bed, and this chick is still on his lap. At this point, they are on, for viewer discretion, I will say it was face to face type of situation. So she's seated on his lap facing him, if you get what I mean. And that's a very sexual position for someone who's not your girlfriend. So at this point, he has brought his side piece to his birthday party that he invited me to. And I'm just sitting there mind blown, like, what the actual F is happening at this point? So I go to this chick. I'm like, hi, you're so pretty. And she's like, oh, thank you. And then I turn to him and I'm like, what's happening? He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, why you guys seated like this? He's like, this is my girlfriend. And I turn to him, I'm like, wait, what? So not only the girlfriend has been made into a side piece, he is straight up telling me to my face that this is the girlfriend. And hey, I was skinnier than a stick, but I have never wanted to fight anyone this bad. I wanted to fight. It was fight mode by the we're knocking heads. At this time, I'm ready to fight. So we start arguing and we're throwing hands and everything. Okay, we're throwing hands, but I'm throwing my hands. It's like, wait a minute, hold up. What do you mean this is your girlfriend? Kwani, what have you been doing this whole long, like this couple of years and everything? And then he tells me, and at this point, of course, guys are coming into the room, and now guys are just waiting to see what's gonna happen. He looks to my face, straight up into my eyes and says, um, if you want to make it official, I'm actually breaking up with you. You're not worth it. And I was, what? What? My heart broke. Not only am I in a room full of his friends, but he is straight up breaking up with me in front of everyone. And all his friends call him out on it. They were like, yo, that was not nice. So I just woke up and I walked out. And that has been one of the most traumatizing things I think anyone can ever experience, even as a child. That heartbreak after everything. The thing though, I think it's an experience I will never forget. And never, like the whole thing, feeling of, just being in love. I don't think I can ever give that up. I never hated him. I never felt angry because it's the journey. I was pissed off. I'm not gonna lie. I was pissed off. I was ready to fight her. First of all, Angini Pigodem, she was like 10 times bigger than me. But still, the experience of love is different. And just because it comes to an end does not mean that it wasn't real. So yeah, a lot of guys have gone through the same thing. An experience where someone probably embarrassed you or completely broke your heart. But that doesn't mean that you should give up on love, because I'm happy with where I'm at. And I'm glad that I never gave up on love. That's all I had to say. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye, guys.